like he was getting punished. But
We're on air.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
All right, I call this meeting to order. Are we in accordance with the Kansas Kansas Open Meeting Act?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Let's do a quick roll call here. I'm Matthew Newbanks. Deborah Krauss.
Here.
Grant Johansson.
here.
Scott McCready.
Here.
Lyric Carnes.
Here.
Rosemary Sorry, I apologize. Lacey Halton.
Here.
Stephen Cook.
Here.
Frankie Fuller.
I believe she's at college.
Okay.
We're getting it fixed so we get another youth member.
Okay. Well, it appears that we have quorum. And so let's open it up for citizens forum. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak? Come on up, sir. Please state your name and then you can speak.
I'm Greg Stevens. I live at 8042 South 10th.
Barb Young with Northside Community Development, 1100 West Grand.
And we have 3 minutes, right, for the two of us? So
We'll
try to
usually
make
let you
this
roll along
as
that
quick as
long.
we can. I'm on the board of North Salina Community Development also. I'm the Secretary Treasurer. I'm a landlord in North Salina, but I live on North 10th. And we started a long time ago, and we meet monthly. And one of the things that we do every year is we come up with goals. And one of the goals that we've had for the last year, maybe 2 years, is since the animal shelter is kind of in North Salina, we've had several people that have come to the board and asked us to, we've had discussion on the board as a result of it. So one of our goals was to see if we could help improve what's going on there. So we're trying to be positive about this. And we've traveled to Manhattan. This is last year. And I'm a retired faculty member from K-State and been really involved in civic engagement. I talked to Deborah Cole there, who does civic engagement at the state level, and she's provided some input to us for what we're doing. And so we have a handout here we want to give you about, we'd like to, as one of our goals, is we like to get some input from you, feedback and that kind of thing on a working group informational discussion that we would have. We initially thought about doing a town hall, but we thought just having a working group might be a more positive way to us to address this goal that we have. So Barb, if you could hand it out. I'll go over this real quick. We meet at the Salvation Army, so this would occur at the Salvation Army. We're just exploring this, basically. Nothing's been determined yet. We would have a facilitator lead the event, and preferably Deborah Cole from K-State would be the facilitator to lead it. We would invite, it would start out with Barb, our chairperson, and Deborah going over the goals of how we would do this. And what we would like to do would be to invite a representative from Salina, from Manhattan, and either from Newton or McPherson to attend. Each representative would have 15 to 20 minutes to talk about some of the things that are listed as topics here. And what we would do is we'd have 3 different working groups, 3 different roundtables, and the representatives would spend 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes at each table answering questions and going over these topics. Each table would have a note taker that would take notes, and then after 15 or 20 minutes, the representatives would all rotate to the next table around. So it would take about an hour to go through this. And then each table would report back to the whole group the 3 or 4 items that they heard discussed that they liked, and we would put them up on a board so everybody could see them. And then when we got done, we'd have a short discussion, and we would write up a paper that summarized what we're doing, and we'd make it available to the city for their input. And you could, maybe we could find some ideas that could help out, or if you didn't like some of the stuff, that's your choice. But so the outline that I've just gone over is pretty much what I've talked about here. And we would like your feedback or support for
Greg, right?
us pursuing it. Yes.
Yeah. You called me about a month and a couple months
I did.
ago? Okay. All right. And when you say help out, and what specifically are you referring to?
Well, as an educator, I always think it's a good idea to explore all kinds of information. And if we can find some information from some of the other animal shelters, that would be helpful and useful for us. It would satisfy some of the citizens' concerns that we've heard that have attended our meetings. And it'd be a way of kind of giving voice and listening to what they've been saying.
You're trying to get information from other places, how they run their facilities, how they do, what's been successful, what's not.
Right.
And you're trying to bring that about.
Right. Yeah, the
Okay.
questions are, describe your volunteer program, how your vet program works. And I know some of these programs are going okay here, but we might be able to find something better and new. How your pit bull program's managed, how you do your public outreach takes place, what kind of events you have for public outreach, how you raise funds, what has worked well at your site, describe innovative ideas you've adopted, and other topics you feel important. That's what each of the representatives from the different animal shelters would talk about for 15 or 20 minutes in their group.
So you're putting this together, and then you're going to invite those people
Right.
to do that, and you want a representative from Salina. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we
From
don't
the
wanna leave
shelter
we don't
or
wanna
from the
leave
board?
Salina out. But if we left Salina out, I don't think that would go over so well.
Right, yeah.
I think that would be more for a shelter person to be there than a board member. I certainly think.
Well, that's what I thought, but I was
yeah,
just asking.
I think you'd want a
'cause-
representative from the shelter there, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we would have representatives from each shelter that would.
Yeah, but we
yeah.
could go,
We could go,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think that's more of a actual shelter initiative program. What's the shelter's thoughts on that, guys? I mean,
Yeah. Deborah Cole suggested that we talk to the advisory group before we went forward, so that's
think
kind
it's a
of one of
good
the
idea.
reasons why we're
I think
here.
it's an awesome
I
idea.
don't think it's a horrible idea. I know the shelter has worked with numerous shelters, and we've seen kind of volunteer information packets from other shelters before, but I don't think it's a bad idea. What's the shelter's
idea.
thoughts on doing something like that? Is there a time frame set up? Do we have any of that?
No, there's no time frame. And actually, the meeting for this month, Barb, you can mention, we're working on a different topic, the community garden, I think it is.
Community garden, Stimmel Community
So,
Garden.
and then elections are coming up, so there are all kinds of things that could interfere with us trying to do that. Plus, the Salvation Army incurred some water damage, and so they're doing some repairing for the roofs and what have you, so we need to make sure that we fit into their schedule.
Can
So-
you share some of the concerns that the people shared with you?
I'm probably not the best person to do that, Rosemary. I actually don't have pets or anything like that. I'm just, as a board member, I help facilitate some of the goals. Probably the same concerns that you've heard as advisory board members here. Basically, I think what our board kind of come to after we've been talking about this for a while is we would like to make a contribution to see if we can come up with a way to assist in helping make the animal shelter work better.
Do you think you could drive fostering or like drive a program to increase that? Because I think currently I've had 3 cats this year, which is very, very low. And I think I'm probably one of the top fosters for the shelter with 3 kittens. I mean, do you think you could drive a program like that or anything along those
I'll
lines?
let our chair talk about that.
Because I think that's where the shelter's still struggling and that pretty hard, right?
Struggling with cats, adoptions or volunteering or.
No, I think he meant we're struggling with fosters.
Volunteers.
Yeah, the foster
Fosters.
program.
You mean
People
people that
willing.
volunteer to be fosters?
No, we don't have very many.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know, when you allow people to have a voice, you know, we maybe can get some people that could come out and
Sure.
do that.
Yeah.
And
we've
it could
been
be a
trying to reach
suggestion
out.
that comes out of the group, you know, is,
I like your ideas of what you're doing, and there's always lots of ideas. Action, I think, is what's needed.
Yes.
So, like presenting those ideas is great, but then maybe narrowing it down to one thing, creating some action, and then actually getting something done versus ideas. We all got ideas. It's just we have trouble getting things done.
right. I participated with the Institute for Discourse and Democracy at K-State for several years, and then COVID kind of shut it down. And they've put together ways to do structured meetings that allow the process to stay on track and come up with action items at the end. And that's why we want each group to report back, and we'll put them up, and we'll have a list here and of the most important action items that maybe could be pursued. It might be more than 1 or 2. I agree with you. Just having a few might make it more easier, but
Yeah.
when you get
I wish you guys success.
Yeah, I don't see any negative. There's no contact information on this page. Can we grab that from you? Kind of get you the shelter contact information? Because I think it's more of a shelter issue than an animal advisory board. We're happy to facilitate that, and some of us might show up to that. I'd like to, depending on when it is.
Well, we would like you to show up and,
Yeah.
and be part of the groups too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think that group interaction is where you really
Yeah,
come
no,
up with ideas.
So let's get some contact information exchanged, and as long as the shelter is not horribly opposed to it, I don't think the board's horribly opposed to it. And just stay in communication, and as you get a timeline developed, let's
Okay.
make a plan.
And I'm not thinking it's going to happen real quick,
That's
but-
yeah, I think that's fine.
given that where we're at in the year here.
Thank you.
Barb, any more?
All I can say is we've had pretty good luck on doing collaborations with other volunteers, and this is something I think that we could maybe help get some positive things going with other people in the community, and possibly maybe getting other volunteers to help with the animal shelter.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Just try to get some positive outcomes.
Sounds great. If we can get your contact information, we can
Okay.
spread it around and kind of get
Okay.
it to the
We can
people
do
who
that.
need it. That'd be great. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens wish to speak at this time? Nope. Going once, going twice. We're going to move on to community veterinarian comments. Are there any veterinarians that would like to speak at this time? Has everybody had a chance to go over the agenda?
Bring any cards. Do you have any? I wrote my email on here.
I think we're going to, I'm going to make a motion to add in Grant's letter to new topic business real quick. So we'll place that right after the microchip clinic. If anybody has, I suppose we got to make a vote on that. So any opposed to adding that to the agenda?
On my phone number. I'm sorry. I didn't bring
All
my
in
cards.
favor?
Thank you.
Okay. Adding it to the agenda. Do we agree on the agenda, how it's been amended? All opposed? All for?
Do you need any more? I have extras.
All
if you
right.
need one. Do you want a packet?
Do you want to, I'm sorry, do you want to let them
And then I'll
finish
share.
or
I'll
We
share
pause
mine.
for just a second and finish this before
Oh,
we jump
I
to the next
apologize.
thing. No, you're good.
Alright.
Just before we keep going.
apologize?
There you go. There's your agenda.
And then
Thank you. Thank you.
just a reminder for the board, we need to have a motion, a second motion, and then a vote for the agenda, for the minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We didn't, I did, I seconded one of them, I don't remember
Seconded.
which one, yeah.
The agenda.
The agenda.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good? Okay. All right, so I suppose we should redo that. I move to amend the current agenda and add discussion upon Grant's letter to the current agenda.
Second.
Second. All for adding that to the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Passed. I move to approve the the agenda as amended. Can I get a second?
Second.
All for?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, passed. Has everybody had a chance to look at the meeting minutes of the last meeting?
Yes.
Perfect. I move to approve those minutes.
I'd like to make an amendment to those minutes.
Go. Feel free.
We're feedback and concerns down about 3/4 of the way. That would be item 5. In there, and I had questions if there was an internal review was done looking into what went wrong with the shelter and the volunteer group, as well as what went differently in the future. I also would like to have that put in there and amended, that I asked Jeff, Monique, and bad with names. I asked them all, in their personal opinion, why did the volunteer group close, and they wouldn't answer that.
Okay.
So I'd like to have that put in the minutes if possible.
So I make a motion to add a section under sections O, subsection 5, that Scott asked the city's opinion on why the volunteer group, and they failed, and they answered with silence. Can I get a second?
Second.
All for?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. So, will you amend the meeting minutes then?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you very much. So, as the minutes now stand, I move to approve the amended minutes. Can I get a second?
Second.
All for?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes have been approved. On to new business.
So we have done, so far this year, we're just a little past a halfway point for the year. We were kind of totaling up our trap and release numbers. We've had 4 trap and release dates. We had one in March, one in May, one in June, and one in July. And we've done a total, to date, 70 total cats have been spayed or neutered. And we had 13 cats that were in that group that were then surrendered to the shelter and that were then adopted out as pets.
Great.
So, and then, did anybody have any questions on that?
Are there any planned for the future?
We are.
So we
go
actually,
ahead.
sorry, I'm just gonna jump in here. We have it set up as the third Thursday of every month. The reason a few of those months are missing was it was really cold in January and February, and we did those nights, it was under that 30 degrees that we have in the ordinance, and we didn't want to leave cats that were in traps out all night. And I believe the reason April was missed was there was a really, really bad storm going through that night with a flood watch, and we didn't want to risk that either. So those are the reason those months are missed, but we do have it set
So it's every
for the third Thursday
Thursday
of every month, yes.
And you guys are you accepting community trapped cats or no? So if a community traps.
Yes, the community
Yes.
traps them. We have a list that we then contact. They set traps Wednesday night and bring them Thursday
They
morning.
have to be on that list, correct? It's not like anybody can trap
Well,
a cat.
We've accepted some if there's been word of mouth that have come in. We prefer them to be on the list. That way it's a little bit easier paperwork wise Thursday morning for us.
Any other questions?
How many did you say you released? How many did you say you released?
If we minus the 13 from 70, 57 were released back to their people.
Those
to their
13 were
circles.
kittens that we knew about. Mom was in that trap and release, and they brought mom and the kittens to us when they were 8 weeks old and weaned. And we then took the kittens as surrender, so we were then able to adopt them out to a home.
Some of them took a little bit to acclimate and become nice and want to be held and petted and touched and everything, but we figured that that would help since they were so young. That would get them off the street and they would be in homes. So that is a good help. But the adult ones, they're not ready to be pets. So, but it helps to get some of them off the street that way.
Move on to the microchip clinic.
We have a microchip clinic coming up this Saturday. I gave everybody a handout. It's from 8 to noon. Anybody can come. It's $10 for each microchip, and that does include, when we put it in the system, it does include that basic registration. You don't have to pay for registration. If you want to pay for an upgraded one, we'll let you know that you'll have to call 24-Hour Pet Watch and get the upgraded system. But we pay for the basic, where if we pick up your cat, dog in the city and we scan it, it's going to be in our system, and we would be able to then reach out to 24-Hour Pet Watch and get your location, that what you registered the animal with, and hopefully get pet back to owner.
If I have my dog's microchip through my vet, are you 100% able to read it, or?
We can read a lot. We have several universal readers. We have a data chip reader, and then we've got a bunch of just universal readers. So depending on what chip they use, we can usually read pretty much any chip.
But for the city of Salina, it's probably best to get one from your vet. If you have that, that's great. But probably need to get one from you guys so you're 100% guaranteed to read it.
Right. I think
It would be in our system. They would then be in there. If people have a city license, we always put the chip in there. It just goes through we have to call a specific company if there's a chip that isn't registered and get the contact information. And sometimes we're on hold for a long time to get that. And so if it is in our system, then it's just easier. But our chip readers can read almost every chip.
Okay.
Without a problem. It's just then that long process of getting that contact information instead of it being in our system.
I know there was discussion about putting a chip reader somewhere in Salina that people, if they found a dog, could scan it there. Is there anything going on about getting one of those?
I haven't completely done all the research on it. It's a good idea. A lot of times we have had a lot of success with, if somebody has a dog or cat and they're in an area and they've got a hold of it and we're there, we can scan it for them. We'll come out and scan it. We'll come to you. If you guys need us to come to you, we can do that. If it's the after hours, then that's a little harder. That would be where that chip reader would be a really good thing if it's anything after hours. So, and I think they had discussed that at the city commission meeting about putting that in.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the microchip clinic? No? Well, let's move on to Grant's letter.
First, I'd like to thank the city for hosting the Pooch Plunge this week. It's something I look forward to every year, and even if you don't have an animal, go and just watch what happens out there. The dogs, it's our highlight of their year, I think, when they go to that. And it's
I
just,
wanted
it's
to
just,
take Lulu.
and I got to watch my granddog, so I was happy. I apologize for launching a cannon across the bow here so late in the game, and I thank you for giving me some time to briefly go over this letter. My term is up after this meeting, trying to decide if I want to continue or not, and I kind of explain why I feel that way. Monique, I'd like to start and ask you a couple questions leading up to the first bullet point, but today, how many on-site volunteers do you have at the shelter?
We don't have any
You
volunteers.
don't have
right
any,
now.
okay.
No.
So when you lost your, and I'm going to sound like an attorney here, and I don't mean to, but when you lost the volunteers, I'm assuming that you had to increase your operating budget to hire more people?
We did.
Okay. Is that reflected in the 2026 budget, those increases?
It would be, yes,
Okay.
because we kept those people that we brought on at the time of the volunteers leaving. We've kept that staff currently.
So I guess I'm too practical here. There's been a lot of emotion, drama around this volunteer program, and if the city is willing to financially support adequate staffing for the animal shelter, why do we care about the volunteer program? Why do we keep discussing this every meeting? I can see if someone wants to come to you and volunteer and they're willing to sign this waiver and you actually have something for them to do that keeps them out of harm's way, I don't have a problem with that. But why are we going and discussing way beyond that, I guess? I'm not pointing my finger at you at all. And I think I kind of in the back of my mind is, does the city really want this? I mean, I'm retired now, but I ran businesses that had very hazardous environments. I certainly didn't want volunteers. I didn't even want part-time help. You have a lot of invested in your employees in training, and they're in environments that could be a problem. Does the city really want that exposure? Is that kind of the hidden background of this? I mean, what does the city feel about a real movement effort to get this volunteer program rejuvenated? Do we care?
You're asking me?
Well, I mean, you're kind of the next step up, I guess, right?
Sure. I think the city functions as in service to the community. So if the community, which has expressed a desire to bring back the volunteer program, we are following those steps.
Okay.
And that's what we've done thus far, is provide information about how a volunteer program would look like if we were to run it ourselves, and what we would do. And that's what we've done so far. And most recently, Andrea's finished her pool season, and we've already had some conversations about how we would, what steps we would take next relating to the volunteer program. But overall, it is out of a request from the community that we bring back such a program.
Request from the community, but nothing from the city leadership really pressing you to.
I think the feedback that we got from the city commission, which is the governing body, was that they were supportive of bringing back some type of volunteer program in the future.
Okay. So I guess then again, I think, why do we spend so much time talking about it? Let's just let it happen. And if it doesn't happen, why does this group care? As long as the shelter is being funded enough to take care of everything that happens there. And just let Monique manage that problem if she wants to.
Well, I think, personal opinion here, I think the big thing too is back in the day, they literally had volunteers that would work there hours and hours every single day. They would walk the dogs, do mandatory things for the animals. at least I hope, with the new staff at the shelter, a volunteer group would look something more like more dog adoption events and things along those lines to
Dog
help
transports.
transports, that
You-
sort of things.
I think the big thing from the takeaway that I got was more dogs got out and had an opportunity. They moved on to different states, different places,
Yeah.
different things, and that was all done by a volunteer group, not the shelter.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to just beat it to death.
Yeah.
That's just.
I get it. There's been a lot of talk about it, and
Yeah.
we're to the point where it's a time to move on. It's just obviously.
I was going to jump in at some point tonight, and I think this is the best moment to do this in terms of this part of what Jeff said when we have been discussing it because of concerns that have been brought up about us not doing things the way they were done before. We are actually looking at and communicating with consultants to come in and help us set up the program. So it is an outside person that has the training to help with and are familiar with shelters. So that's where we're taking steps to
It
look
takes a
into.
lot for you to manage volunteers.
It does.
Takes a lot of your time, takes a lot of training, and to me, it's just not worth it, but, that's not my decision.
Well, a well-run volunteer group does the training. It's not as labor intensive as you would think. They're not the ones training the volunteers. There's a certain level that they train, and then the volunteers that are in charge of it train the volunteers. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I would think that Monique would still have some level of oversight
Sure.
and management of these people.
And with a consultant, it may look completely different. It may be an employee that's training those volunteers. It may be somebody who's been picked to head that volunteer group, to manage that volunteer group. That may be what it looks like. We don't know because we haven't had the consultant come in yet.
Okay.
So we're gonna, when that comes in, then we can make more decisions from there.
And I did misspeak on that first bullet point. The city did respond to Scott's request as far as the motion he made. I think you guys did put out a
Correct.
letter on that, so that was my bad on that. Second bullet point, I'm just going to make the motion flat out, as it says there. That
Grant, can I interrupt just?
yeah,
real quick?
absolutely.
We have to discuss it before the motion's made.
I would almost bet if you put out a survey to the citizens in Salina, that the biggest share of them would say they would rather have the volunteers than to hire employees and cost the taxpayers money. I would almost guarantee that.
I completely understand that comment. I mean, our taxes are definitely high. But I'm also thinking about practicality and risk of, having employees working in a hazardous environment. Obviously, it's happened before. There are other areas less concerning to volunteer your time. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just pointing something out. But yeah, I will agree that I would feel like most of the community would feel that way. I would agree. And what were you saying on the second bullet point?
Yeah, we got to discuss it before we
Well,
put a motion.
no, I'm not, okay, I won't make a motion, but my second bullet point does say that I would like the board to consider or recommending to the animal shelter that we humanely euthanize any animal that's kept for over a year, 6 months, 2 years,
I
whatever
think
the
they've
number
already
is.
set it at 6 months.
Are you following that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you said, Deborah.
Oh, 6 months. He said that humanely euthanize after you've held it for a year or 6 months. And I said, I think they've already settled on 6 months.
Is there a shelter policy in place for that now?
We are not euthanizing as soon as 6 months happens. It is still vet recommended.
So when did this happen, I guess?
They've always done vet recommendations.
So why have we had pit bulls in the shelter for such a length of time, I guess?
A lot of them are court cases.
Some of them are court
Some of
cases. There's a good majority of them that were court cases. Some of them, we were trying to get them ready to go to a rescue, like behavior-wise, working with them, trying to get them socialized with other animals, socialized with more people than just one person. It takes a while to break those bad habits.
So outside of court cases, is there any reason to keep an animal more than 6 months?
If we're looking for a rescue and if it's a decent dog and it's got potential to go to a rescue, we're trying to get them to a rescue. We have had to euthanize some dogs that have had behavioral issues, and it was all vet recommended. So that's what we're doing, is we're going by vet recommendation. If it's around that 6-month time period, we're trying to figure it out to get it looked at and have vet check on it and give us a recommendation.
And Grant, I'll jump in here and say I think the people who work at the shelter are a certain type of people. They tend to be more compassionate than
Sure.
the average person, and to tell shelter workers, I don't know this for a fact, but you tell them that 6 months is up today, this guy's going down. I think that would have an outsized impact on the shelter workers,
Agreed.
more so than maybe some of the more callous-hearted members of society, which,
Do we turn dogs away? Like, I know it's at times you guys say we're not taking any intakes.
yeah.
And then we have animals that have been there forever. That
Yeah.
happens, right?
It does, and we do have just regular, normal, everyday dogs right now that they're just not moving. And that is a nationwide issue. It's not just a Salina issue. That is a nationwide issue of adoptions have gone down. We've really, bucked up on it. We've gone down to the $5 dogs because we were trying to move them. So we took our prices down as specials, $5. I think, when did we start that? Do you remember? 2 months ago. And we've kept, it was only going to be for a week or 2 weeks, and then we've just kept it going because it's working. But it seems as soon as we get 2 dogs out, we get 3 dogs in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of those are surrenders, some of those are, that were like, hey, we've got some space, bring them in. So, and it does take a little bit of time to get them ready, a week between vets coming in. The vet coming in, we have to hold them for a week if they're not spayed or neutered or, vaccinated or anything like that. So it does take a little bit of time. It's not just an overnight thing. So, because we only have a vet once a week, so.
So this isn't, I guess the last 2 years, this isn't what I've been hearing, I guess. I thought we were I didn't think we had anything about this 6 months in place.
No, I mean, we're trying to keep them as long as we can without, if we're not able to serve the public, then we have to make decisions if
Right.
a dog's been there longer than 6 months. But we're trying to get them to rescues, trying to get them so we can get them to a rescue. Getting animals to a rescue right now is absolutely hard. It's almost harder than getting them adopted because a lot of places are so full with a specific breed that they don't want any more in their community. Although they don't have a breed ban, they don't want any more because they're saturated with that breed. So trying to get them out, reaching out to different states and that stuff is kind of what I'm doing right now, is reaching out to outer states because in Kansas it's just a little bit hard right now. It may ease up.
But don't you see that problem just getting worse?
I don't know.
Of course it will. I mean, it will continue to get worse unless, somebody makes some hard decisions. And, unfortunately, we have probably the majority of pet owners are not responsible enough to even own a pet. I mean, that's what I see, and that's the problem. And, they don't get spayed and neutered. All of a sudden they have a litter of pups they have nothing to do with. And it just seems like we need to be a little more firm to deal with this in the city. But if that's what's going on today, I mean,
We can still make a recommendation, so we can't force them to do it, but we can recommend that the board,
we don't need to if they're already doing it at 6 months, so is my understanding, right?
it doesn't sound like they're doing it at 6 months, so
Well, they're doing it as
as the vet
space is
recommends.
as space is needed.
so.
We don't euthanize for space.
No, but didn't you just say that if it came to not being able to help the community,
Serve the
then,
public, yeah.
okay, well, that's kind of what that is.
Are you full now? Dog-wise?
I think we have 4 spaces available, like in the garage
Yeah.
where that overflow is, which would be for smaller dogs.
All right.
So we do have that. I don't know what, I know we did 2 adoptions today, so I don't know what the kennel space looks like in the big dog kennel. They could have done more adoptions, since I left.
What's the longest or oldest kept dog that we have? What's the longest they've been with you?
Princess was there for 18 months at least.
I can look it up quick. It just might take me a minute to get it pulled up.
It's, go ahead, but I don't need to know that, but,
I'm just curious,
yeah.
what is the longest that they have been kept?
Yeah, I have reached out to a shelter in Colorado, and they don't have room to take the 3 that I asked to see if we could transfer. They don't have room at the moment, but she said by the end of the week, or by the end of the month, we're crossing fingers. So that could be 3. That
You don't
get
feel
out.
like we're just passing problems around the states?
Well,
I
if
mean,
we're sending these animals to somewhere where they don't have a breed ban and they get adopted fast and readily,
You're talking
that I
about
don't
the
think
pit
it's. I don't
bulls.
think we're.
The
we're
problem's the pit bulls.
I don't think we're. I mean, Colorado is like
I
one
believe
of
the
the biggest
problem's the
places
people.
that you can transfer to.
yeah.
They are
Okay.
very animal, dog friendly. You can go pretty much anywhere in some of those towns, and you go to restaurants, and there's dogs sitting besides their owners and things like that. It's
Colorado's
such a
very
different
dog-friendly.
culture.
Has there been any progress on, I've brought it up several times throughout my tenure here that the city allow out-of-county adoptions for pit bulls? Has there been anything done on that?
We haven't been, but what we're doing is if we can do like if somebody wants to adopt a pit bull, like say it's a very very good, socialized, that kind of thing, we can do an adoption, kind of a mock adoption, and then we have several of the shelters in Kansas that are willing to take it as a transfer, and then they do the adoption there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a transfer, it's just a little bit different way to do it.
Gotcha. Because that's when you go down to McPherson to adopt the dog, and yeah.
I'm not going to make a motion. It sounds pointless at this point, so unless someone wants to make a motion on anything on that bullet point.
I like something, but I don't know what, because it's such a gray area on that, on the 6 months, on the if we're full, then we start, and then I don't know what the right things to say are. I'd have to think about it. And
I think
and
a year
understand-
time frame, if a dog's not adopted in a year, I mean, it's a horrible thing to say, but a year is an extremely long time to be in a kennel.
It seems
It's terrible.
insanely long time. Yeah.
It's terrible.
6 months is a long time, but
Yeah.
so do we just? I make a motion that the Animal Advisory Board recommend euthanasia for any dog listed longer than a year at the shelter.
Does that accomplish anything from
So
what
it's
you're
the
doing?
recommendation from this board. It doesn't do anything.
No,
No.
but if they take the recommendation, I guess if we make a recommendation and you guys choose to do something else, you will let us know.
Let's be honest, it will give the shelter. The shelter can then say, "Hey, that's the recommendation of the Animal Advisory Board." Because if they do put down a dog that's been in the board in there for a year, they're going to get pushback from the citizens of Salina. They just are, and that way they have, "Hey, it's us recommending it. We're doing what the Animal Advisory Board is saying." So I think that's a benefit there.
I see that.
So
I don't have a problem with that, but I
I
don't know.
made a motion.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
The feline
Motion passes.
motion, oh, sorry. The feline catch, spay, neuter, release program, I feel is, well, for what I've stated there, is just, I don't agree with it at all. I think we still have a lot of wild cats running around town. And I think we would save money by just euthanizing these unwanted animals versus spending the money to have them spayed or neutered. Maybe it's the same cost, I don't know. But turning them back out, to me, I have an issue with. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I don't know why we're doing it.
So, there has been studies done by releasing cats back into their area. It actually because if they leave, essentially another cat that's not fixed is going to move in that area and then have kittens. So there's been studies done that show that a cat that's fixed in the area, it still claims the area and kind of prevents anybody else from moving in and breeding like rabbits. So
Then keep catching them. I mean, that's my opinion. Just keep catching unwanted domestic animals or feral cats or whatever, and get rid of them. I think there should be a containment law in this town for cats.
So on a containment law, are you talking like a leash law for cats?
Not leashing a cat's not practical, but
Right.
you should be responsible for your pet, that it's not going over your neighbor's house and crapping in their garden.
Okay.
You
So-
should have enough respect.
Containment on a cat is either going to be, it's going to be in a kennel or something outside with the
Going to be in their
top-
house.
Right.
It could be in a cage or whatever outside if it needs to be outside. I don't
I
know.
have a catio.
Catio. Perfect.
I do.
I have a neighbor who does.
I'm
who
not
also
making a
has
motion
catio.
on that.
I mean, it's to have a leash law on animals or a containment law on cats would be a very time consuming for the shelter, because if we see a cat, we would have to pick it up.
Yeah.
No matter what it was. I don't have enough officers to go around and pick up every cat we would see, and I wouldn't have the space to keep those animals for the 72 hours mandatory hold period. If we picked up every cat, if I picked up every cat in my neighborhood, like if I got up tomorrow morning and went out my front door and I'm like, oh, I have to catch all those cats, I would probably have 16 cats in my truck by the time I got to work.
We could do what we did 50 years ago and put out antifreeze or just shoot them. I mean, that's what we did. Like I said, I don't know how this problem's going to get better. It's not. It's just going to get worse if we don't do something practical. And I don't think what we're doing, I think it's just a waste of time and energy. If no one wants to make any type of recommendation on that, I'll move on. Breed-specific ban, I've explained myself there. Not looking for any kind of motion there other than I wish the city would consider lifting the ban, because I think it's ridiculous, and I think I would love to see more onus put on ownership. Require higher liability coverage if they're going to license a vicious dog in this town, or whatever. Hold them criminally liable if their dog does something. I don't care what breed it is. I wish we would put more teeth on that. I think I've talked to vets locally. My brother's a vet in Kansas City. A breed-specific ban to these people makes absolutely no sense. There's so many other breeds that are just as aggressive. They might not have the physical strength, but absolutely just as aggressive as a pit bull is. And I'm not a pit bull guy. I apologize to anybody in this room that has one. I don't know why anybody would want one, personally. It's that an animal that has natural aggressive tendencies. I have no idea.
That's a myth, though. They don't.
Okay.
A lot of dogs that are fighting dogs are fed steroids and beefed up, and that's where they get the bad call. My dog right now is 36% pit bull, and if that was true, that they are aggressive based on their breed, that 36% would make her aggressive or be able to be aggressive, and there's not an aggressive bone in her body.
Statistically, does that hold any water, though?
Yes, CDC no longer.
I'm talking about Salina.
Oh.
Statistically, dog-related injuries in this town.
I think the number one bite is like dachshunds or something.
Well, yeah, but here's the deal. As a retired paramedic, I've seen the end result. Pit bulls are 6% of the population, and they cause 86% of dog deaths to people.
CDC no
So-
longer takes dog breed into account when doing dog attacks because of misidentification of dogs that look like pit bulls that aren't. 25 breeds can be mistaken for pit bulls. There was a lady attacked, 2 ladies in California recently attacked by a pack of dogs, and the only breed that they mentioned was the dog that looked like the pit bull. The rest were German Shepherds and Rottweilers, but nobody mentioned those breeds.
Right, because, yeah. It's,
I'm scared to death. I'm a dog lover, but when I see a Rottweiler or, some of these types of dogs, I certainly don't reach out and try to pet them. I mean,
Don't put your face in their face.
well, there you go. There you go. I mean, I'm not going to argue that, but my argument is I wish we could put more onus, and maybe the laws are there today. I'm not
Well, I think this is this discussion right here is a microcosm of what goes on in Salina. Emotions run high when you talk about the issue.
Yeah.
The entire reason I came on here was essentially my vision was, I'm neither here nor there on the pit bull rule. I wanted the shelter to be able to adopt pit bulls outside
That's
of
my pit bull.
the city. That I thought that would help out the shelter. We haven't made any progress on that, but I don't think we have any input on the pit bull law. That's up to the people of Salina and the city commission.
But we can we have head of the Parks Department that can communicate to the city commissioners that this board has made this recommendation. Or are we going to go through this petition process again where?
Oh, we're already there.
So we had 1, 2, or 3 years ago where we got in for the commission, and the commission said no.
Yeah.
Again, so it's just like the public petition and put it on a public ballot's probably your best bet
Yeah.
if you want to.
And I don't know.
Kansas has had 58 repeals. And you know what? They still have 58 repeals. Nobody has put the ban back into effect because it works. If you hold the owners responsible, it works.
Yeah.
And this isn't really an effort to get rid of the breed-specific ban. I don't personally agree with them, but it's more stating my point is hold owners responsible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And anybody who trusts their animal, I don't care how they feel, is mistaken.
Well, Chihuahuas have killed 2 babies, and a Pomeranian killed a
My
baby.
point is you can't trust any.
That's what I'm
Animal.
saying. You cannot trust them.
Right.
You have to be on guard.
You
Right.
can always bring in the 0.11% outliers.
Your chances of
those
being
are-
attacked and
those
killed
are-
by a dog is less than
those are
1%.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, but when it happens, it's.
It's horrible, but so's a car
You're the
accident.
one that's
So's
gotta do
a kid
CPR
getting
on
beat
them
to
or put
death
them
by
back
their
together.
parent.
Get
There's no
different
good way
opinion.
to die.
I agree.
Okay, I didn't want to take up a lot of people's time. I
Appreciate you.
I've gone through this,
Is that all of your points?
just those 4.
Okay.
And I guess going through all that, I can sense that all of these conversations are just going to keep going and going and going for the next 3 years. I don't know if I really have any interest in, and I might not have that option of getting picked anyway. But
Can I ask a question? It says Animal Control Advisory and Appeal Board. What do we appeal?
So
What does appeal mean?
I don't think we appeal. I think people can bring, they got a 25 dog ticket for their dog running at large, and they want to fight it because their dog's a Chihuahua and it's small.
They would have to fight that in court. That doesn't have any, we can't appeal a court order or a dog bite.
I think they can bring it towards us, and we can hear the case. And
In the city code, there's 3 permits that Monique is authorized to issue that can be appealed. Multiple dog permits, and I don't remember them all, Monique, but I know one's a multiple dog permit. So let's say she denies a permit, they can come to this board and appeal that
Okay.
decision.
Okay.
And the appeal process, which we haven't done very often with this board, is actually a 3-person committee of the 7 or 9 that are appointed to this board. So, never happened. So we haven't had that. We haven't had to do that. Multiple dog permits.
Then dangerous
Nuisance and
and
dangerous.
nuisance.
Yes. Okay. So those are the 3 appeals that that Monique is authorized to issue through city ordinance.
The maximum for, you can have 4 dogs before you need a special license.
Yes, multiple dog is 5 and up.
So that's what that appeals portion of that title
more to
is
go.
for.
okay, perfect.
Is there the same thing for cats?
No.
No.
The cats you can pretty much have, there's no really set limit on cats as long as you can feed them, have vet care for them, have a rabies vaccine, and have a city license for them.
No, mine are all spayed.
With that in mind, what about homes
And mine
here
were all
immediately in the
pest
city
rabies.
that have tons of ferals on one property?
That's that community cat. That's that kind of that circle of cats that are out there that are, keeping the mice population under control, bird population under control, those things. We don't usually have an owner for those cats. They're usually like, oh, I feed them, and there's several people in the neighborhood, but we can't make them get a city license if they aren't admitting that it's theirs.
Isn't it illegal to feed stray cats? Because I know some towns in Kansas, it's illegal to feed stray animals.
Even if it is, good luck enforcing that.
Well, I know, I'm
But
just
what
asking
I'm
for
getting
my
at
knowledge, thank
is
you.
if we can't enforce and do things with the ferals, if people are condoning the behavior and the population, what enforcement can we do to them?
They're not their cats.
Yeah. And
I
that's
mean,
the importance
if
of
you're
the,
voluntarily feeding something, you're claiming ownership.
I don't.
well, if you
think so.
feed it one day and it doesn't
Technically.
come back for 16 days in a row,
In a freezer
technically
pellet
it's
gun
not your
toner.
cat because you didn't feed it for 72 hours in a row. So they could come with that. But that's the importance of the trap and release program, is to get those cats spayed and neutered so they are not producing any more, to have more cats in
Rodent
the
control.
more kittens. Because we got, when the 13th Street Trailer Park was going strong, we went in there and did, I think it was three or 4 days of really hard trapping, and got as many cats as we could possibly get, had them all spayed and neutered, put them back out into that community, and we had that community at the 13th Street Trailer Park, we had it controlled for a long time, just by going in there and doing that. Now, people will bring in new cats, but we would say, hey, if you bring in another cat, or if you see a cat that doesn't have an ear tip, call us and we will try and get that one worked in. So we were trying to keep that community, that population of cats, so they weren't having a ton of kittens.
You're feeding it, it's your
Okay.
cat.
I personally, just from riding around town, know there's several homes that have probably at least 12 to 25 cats. Are those homes being observed by the officers
if-
and looking into, see if they have the clipped ear, see if they have been, spayed, neutered, and
Yeah. If we know about them. I mean, there's so many homes in the community, unless we actually know about this particular home. If somebody has called us and said, hey, they have 1 million cats, and we'll go out there and talk to them and say, hey, are you feeding cats? This and that. We offer the spay neuter program to them, the trap and release program, and see if, that we can help them. But unless we know where these pockets are, we can't help them and can't serve the public unless we know where these pockets are.
okay.
And if those cats are inside, like, you see that cat or that house with 40 cats inside, that's different than like just feeding them on your porch. So they can take action for
Yeah.
unsafe conditions and things like that, like if they're internally in the house.
Okay, would you consider an unsafe condition standing on the public sidewalk and being able to smell the odor of cat urine and cat litter?
From that home?
Yes.
That is something that we would probably need to know, that we could do a welfare check to see if, maybe it's an elderly person who they have all these cats and that's their family or whatever. Maybe we could go over there and try and reach out to them with, hey, do you need cat litter? Do you need food? Do we need to get things spayed or neutered? Do we need to try and get some of these out of here, get them adopted? It maybe take some surrenders a little bit at a time. That we've done that quite often, where we would take, somebody has 12 cats and we'll take like 3 at a time as we have room and get them spayed, neutered, and then they surrender them to us, so then we try and get them adopted out. So those are things that we could try. So if you have an issue like that where you walk out there and it's just reeks of cat feces, urine, whatever, just give us a call and the address, and then we could go over there and kind of talk to those people and see what's going on.
Okay.
Any other new business? Oh, go ahead.
Another subject, Monique. Do you list all of your dogs on your Facebook page that are adoptable?
On our Facebook page?
Yeah.
We don't list all of them on our Facebook page, but we do have them on our website, on the animal shelter website. The ones that are adoptable are listed on that page.
On your website?
Mm-hmm. On the website, not on Facebook necessarily, but on because Facebook and our website are 2 different things.
Because I had a couple of people say that they were checking, and of course I assumed it was Facebook, that all you had was large dogs and they wanted a small dog. And then a couple of days later, they saw where you had adopted out a small dog.
So I think what's probably happening there is because of when our vet comes in every Thursday, Friday is when those would come up, and we usually have a line out the door. So they won't be listed as available until Friday morning after they've been spayed or neutered Thursday. And then from the time they're listed at 8 a.m. as available till we've got a line at the door at 11, and they're gone immediately. So it just depends on when you're checking it, because they won't be made available until they're through surgery on Thursday.
We can't put them up
So it's
until
the
they're actually
timeline of it.
available.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other new business? Anything? Nope. All right. Let's move.
I'm sorry. Can I make a suggestion on your agendas for now on to put on there? What? The word just slipped my mind. But I guess other than old business, what's the word I want to use?
Something to the effect of board comments?
Yeah.
Board
Yeah.
comments?
Comments from the board.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want it like before the old business? Or do you want it after the old business?
After the old business?
Okay,
Thank you.
Would general announcements work?
That would work.
It's on there.
Well,
I think it's misnumbered.
it's,
What he brought
it's
up, though, would-
10. General announcements would be, unless we change that, general announcements to board.
I would think it'd be more logical to call it something like board comments or board
General discussion.
general discussion, board general discussion, just because announcements sounds like just, I have something to announce. Whereas I might have something I just want to bring up, like what was the letter that was brought up today? That would give it a place so that you wouldn't have to amend the agenda.
Yeah. Anything else? All right, moving on. Citizens Forum. Would any citizen like to speak about the items that have been discussed by the board just now? No? All right, let's move on to old business. Shelter Alliance numbers.
Yep, Shelter Alliance numbers I'm working on getting those in. Just been kind of plagued with all kinds of things going on. Couldn't get into it for a little bit. So I got into it this morning and started putting numbers in it. So that should be going, I'm hoping by Friday, all of our numbers will be up to date by Friday. The pit bull transfers, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier about me reaching out to as many places as I could possibly think of. Even reaching out to some places, hey, I'll trade you your kind of maybe problem dog that is an adoptable breed that, you know, if you would take these two, I'll take these two problem ones off your hands. So those are kinds of things that I've been working on the last week, 2 weeks. And I've been reaching out. I had some education last week, and I came in contact with 2 people from 2 different states, and we made contacts about maybe me sending some animals their way. One to Oklahoma, one to Nebraska, and so that might be more contact of being able to get animals out, dogs out. So, and then they have contacts as well. So maybe 2 contacts can go to 4 contacts could go to 6 to 8. So word of mouth, hopefully, that's what we're hoping.
How many do you have there now?
How many pit bulls?
It's gonna take me a minute. That'll take me just a minute here to
It'd be
pull it
a
up.
And while you're looking that up, I think that's on.
Yep.
Then, do you have somebody certified as a behaviorist?
We do not.
Should we have somebody certified as a behaviorist to help these animals? Because, well, it may be, but, and then if we do not, what methodology are we currently following? What trainer are we following to try to help these animals? Because I happen to have a passion in this, and I've done thousands of hours of reading and learning. And the particular trainer that I prescribe to is Susan Garrett. She's out of Canada. And being very clear that you have to be very purposeful to, and somebody can't just do it on the fly.
Right.
Like, and
Well-
if we don't have anybody, I think we should be investing some money, even if it's just the online program that I have used, so that somebody can learn, because you're not going to get a problem animal. It's not going to happen, and it's certainly not going to happen in a foster situation because the foster might not have a clue.
We don't foster dogs out unless they're sick or injured or we
so
don't
we
have a
don't
healthy
foster.
dog. They don't go to foster. It's a dog that the foster would be for a puppy that was too young to be at the shelter that needed bottle fed, or if it has, like, say, a fracture of some sort that it's going to be in a cast and is immobile for a little bit. That's what our foster person would be for.
Okay,
It
so
wouldn't
what
be
are we
to socialize
doing?
that dog.
What are we doing for socialization? Who is doing that, and how are they trained or qualified to do so?
We don't have anybody that's certified. We don't have anybody that's trained.
Wow.
We have people who have, same as you, a passion for animals. We have
You have your
several.
NACA certifications, though, don't you?
I'm sorry.
NACA certifications.
They have NACA. We have our NACA 1 and NACA 2, which there are little training courses in there, and I know that there have been several of our officers that get on webinars and help themselves to that information and bring that information into training dogs. We have several people who are just naturally dog people, that dogs gravitate to these two officers that I can think of off the hand. Those two people can just, those dogs are like there with those two officers, and that when those two people are working, everybody at the shelter is great with working with dogs. Our dog walkers have a passion for the dogs. They care about the dogs. They want to make sure that they're not sick. If anybody's sick or has a wound, even the tiniest little limp, they tell us right away. Although we don't have trainers, and it would be wonderful to have a trainer in. I don't know how much that would cost the shelter to bring somebody in, but we're doing the best that we can with what we have, and I feel that they work very well with those animals. And we have had some animals that have been cowering in corners that within a week or two of being with not only just those two officers, but with the dog walkers, them bonding with those people, they have been a good turnaround. We do have some dogs that just don't like anybody and nobody. So, I mean, but that's just what they've learned in their short lives, that they've been out of the shelter. But coming into the shelter, it would be lovely to have a behavioralist. It would be really nice because it would help get some of those dogs out quicker.
Have you thought about contacting the kennel club that's out there?
Actually, on that, they came to Pooch Plunge, and I had a conversation, and they are working through some stuff right now, just like the group that was here at the beginning, where they're going through some board changes and everything. And then she planned on reaching out so that we could do that together, with even information going in
I've talked
adoption
to 'em.
packets and other stuff like that, working together. So it just kind of started earlier this week, and we were going from there.
And we did used to put their, we haven't had one of their little flyers for a little while. We used to put their flyer in our adoption bags so that people could take their dogs to a trainer. We also recommend the classes at Petco. Out there, they have some good puppy classes or first owners, those kinds of classes. They have those good classes out there too.
You need to also be recommending Mutt School. It's
Mutt
in the
School.
basement of the, what is the name of that building? Masonic Temple.
If they can bring us some flyers, we'd be happy to put them in
It's
our
on,
packets.
well, all you gotta do is Google Mutt School. They have it out of Manhattan, and then it's out of Salina, and they are a positive reinforcement instead of a dominance theory, because dominance theory has been disproven. And so that's one of the concerns I have, is that if people are old school, they may not realize that the dominance theory has been disproven, and we should not be using that to try to make a dog submissive.
No, we'll reach out and see if there's something we can work with them with to get information
They
or
are
do
good.
something from there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It'd be
Did
nice to have
anything
that
come
in.
of that flyer that Tyler and I gave you? Remember, we were sitting out with the petition, and this lady came up and she was talking about her free, if you want to get rid of your dog, they'll help you retrain your dog and work with you. Was that green paper that we brought you?
I'm sure I have the packet somewhere. I mean, I keep everything that in a little section that you've given me.
Because
for
everything
training.
they offer is free. They'll help train your dog, they'll work with you.
And they're based out of Salina?
She comes every weekend, yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I'm thinking it was kind of like a light green.
Mm-hmm. How many?
21. Sorry. 21.
Number's grown in the last 2 years.
No, they've
I think
had
that's
more
pretty
than that
consistent.
before.
We've had more
Consistent
than
with what we've
that.
had, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had,
that's-
you had 16 2 years ago, and that number kept floating around for a long time.
They've had 24.
So you currently have 21
We
pit bulls?
currently have 21. I was looking as we were going through this, and the pit bull transfer is an old business. We are working. I mean, for example, we got 10 out
Yeah.
when we met last time and had talked about those transfers to
How
other
do you-
shelters.
how do
So
you- Are these confiscated from owners, or?
They either
Are
come
they
in-
all DNA'd?
we've been trying to make sure that everybody's got a DNA. Besides having their characteristic test, which is the legal deal for court, we can't use DNA for court. We do the DNA kind of to grade ourselves on how we are doing with the characteristics test. So we're doing really good. We're pretty much matching it. We haven't had any surprises. So
looks like we have 16 that we have DNA returned on, and we have the other 5 that are sent off. It can take anywhere up to 4 weeks to get that
we're
back.
waiting on
So how are
DNA
you
test.
acquiring these dogs? I mean, where did they come from?
They come in either as a stray or they're confiscated because the owner has them. And they either broke a law or they were running at large and we got them. A lot of the times when they're running at large, we don't get anybody who reclaims them. And they just are ours within that 72 hours. But there are people then that come and claim them, and you get them out of welfare checks, like where we have to go and do a welfare check at a home. Sometimes owner arrest, they have the dog with them and we have to take the dog at that point.
And understand we do also, if they come in and we have owner information, we try to work with the owner for a release agreement to get it to somebody else they know that will come in and take ownership of the dog, and we will release it outside of Salina. So that is something we always try to do if we have owner information. But I would say most of ours are strays that we just don't get any owner information on.
How many kennels do you guys have total for dogs,
We have
roughly? Doesn't have to be-
32, 10, and then A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. So 15, 16 of those, and then add the 10, and then the garage kennels, there's 10.
We have 57 dog kennels total.
So at any given time, a third to half of the kennels are filled up with pit bulls.
Yeah. We almost had the garage empty, and we were like celebrating, and then we celebrated too early, and we have now been filling back up. But small dogs, we're trying to put all the small dogs in the garage and keep
So
the.
I assume it just gets more and more difficult to get rid of the pit bulls.
It can be. I mean, it's like bursts. Like sometimes we'll have them for a little bit, and then we'll have a big burst of like this person can take some, and this person can take some, or we're going to trade with this person for this many. The batch that we got rid of that transferred out was puppies.
I know 2 of the places locally that we were trading
Alcohol's
with
$500.
also then got new employees and asked us to stop or hold off for a while they trained new employees that were coming in because they had a lot of other stuff going on. And so that's kind of been on hold since then with both Newton and McPherson.
Offsite activities?
Last week we had Tractor Supply. We had a Petco one before that. We're trying to reach out and do more offsites because they bring in a lot of people. We had the bookstore, the Redfern bookstore. We had a read where we took the dogs there and the kids got to read and stuff to them.
Are you averaging like one a month, or?
We're trying. That's what we're pushing for. I would like to do more. We do have some, Bank of Tesket has been coming in. We came in last month to make dog biscuits and dog treats, and then they're coming in again this month to sit and make dog treats and biscuits, and that way we can hand them out with adoptions, or we're going to hand a bunch out with our Microchip clinic. And another thing, the Microchip clinic, we're going to try and run that once a month if we can get that going once a month too.
Cool.
And it's out of county too, just anybody?
Anybody.
So, all right, general announcements. If Jeff said we can talk about things here, I'm going to go ahead and make see if I can make another motion. I've done it in the past. It hasn't gone anywhere, but might as well try again. And that motion is going to be for the board to recommend that the shelter, and Jeff take this to the commission and say that we recommend that the city allows the shelter to adopt pit bulls outside of Saline County.
Second.
So it's not changing the law. We shouldn't have to anything
Just
crazy
to confirm,
like that.
Saline County or Saline City? Like, or the city of Salina?
Let's go city of Salina. We got any pushback on that from us? No? Okay, I'm gonna say outside of city limits of Salina. Because I'd like, Jeff, if you could take that to the city and say, hey, that's our recommendation, to at least try to alleviate some of that. It has nothing to do with the actual law of the pit bull breed ban in town. But so I make a motion to advise the city to allow the shelter an official way to adopt pit bulls outside, or to residents of those who do not live within the city limits of Salina, the city
Second.
of Salina. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Let's do a count by raised hands. So all four. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, never mind. It fails, or it's a push, so that fails.
I think it opens the door.
Oh, it does, but it
Yeah.
already happens, man.
Right, I know.
So anyway, with anybody else have any general announcements? No? All right, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.